morning, everyone. This is Trendy Lindy, and I'm live in the studio of 1450 WOL. This is the Sea Island Morning Show, and we are excited to be with you on this morning. On this morning, we are going to have a great time, but we're going to talk about a serious subject that sometimes we all often deal with. This morning, we are going to talk about overcoming depression. We're going to give some tips and we're going to give some instruction, and we're just going to talk about depression. Depression is something that often enter into our lives, and a lot of times we don't know how to deal with it. So today we're going to just share some information. We're going to talk about it. We want you to call in if you have any stories, any comments, or any ways that you've overcome depression. We want you to call in this morning. The phone number is 1-800-450-7876. As you know, C. Allen is not with me because you don't hear his wonderful voice. He's not in today, so we're going to just continue on and bless him where he is. But he will be back with us shortly. So this morning we are going to talk about overcoming depression. But before we get started, we want to let all of you know, if this is your first time listening to the Sea Island Morning Show, we deal with beauty, we deal with fashion, we deal with hair, barbering, makeup, lifestyle skills, and all of those wonderful things. So if you're wanting to get involved in the beauty industry or anything of that nature, this is the program to listen to, and we are so glad that you decided to join us on this morning. I want to start with our weekend. First of all, we had a wonderful weekend at the award-winning Bennett Career Institute. But first of all, how many of you enjoyed Restaurant Week? We enjoyed Restaurant Week. Sea Island, myself, and a few friends, we went out to Smith and Walensky Steakhouse downtown at 19th Street, D.C., and we enjoyed ourselves. Let me tell you, we made reservations for 7:30. We didn't leave the place, I believe, until maybe 11:30. They were sweeping all around our feet and all putting up everything. We were just there laughing, having such a great time. But we had an opportunity to enjoy a very nice meal, an appetizer, entree, dessert, all for the low price of $35. And their prices actually started at $50. So we got a great discount. We were able to eat and just be merry. We had such a good time. So that started off our weekend. That was on Friday. And then many of our barber instructors, they went out and they did cuts for kids. They actually went into the community and provided free haircuts for students who are approaching going back to school. So we're a school that always look forward to adding to the community. We're always looking for a way to give back. So I think a couple of our instructors will be calling us a little later to give us an update on their event out into the community and how their day went with providing cuts for the kids. And then on Sunday, we had a great time at the Bennett Career Institute. It was hosted by KYS. They actually, we worked with them, and we sponsored a Kids for Cuts at Bennett Career Institute. I heard it was a great turnout. So if you participated, if you were one of the actual barbers or cosmetology students who actually worked on Sunday and you want to call in and let us know how it went, please do so. The number is 1-800-450-7876. Okay, well, let's get into, first, what I'm going to do is give you the question of the day. I need y'all to call in. You know, Sea Island isn't here. I'm alone in the studio, so I need y'all to be my co-host today. I got two questions that I want to pose to you. First of all, was it shocking to hear that funny man, Robin Williams, suffered with an addiction and depression to the point of suicide? Was that shocking for you to hear? Because it was for me. I was very surprised. But as I listened to other radio stations and things throughout the week, I was told that that's not uncommon for entertainers and comedians to suffer with depression. So how did you feel about that? That's number one. And then I heard a well-known preacher. He made a comment that the 20th century drug dealer lords are now wearing white lab jackets, and they're legally prescribing drugs. And he was referring to our pharmaceutical industry. How do you feel about that? What do you think about all of these prescribed drugs that people are now being addicted to? What's your take on that? 1-800-450-7876. Before we get started into overcoming depression, we have Willow in the city on the line. Good morning, Willow.
Hey.
Hey, girl. You got a tip for us this morning?
Yes, ma'am. How you end up in there by yourself?
Well, Sea Island has some things to do, so I have to hold it down for him. I gotta do the thing, girl.
All right. This morning, Willow in the city's beauty tip clip is on the makeup side today.
Okay.
All right. So, and our tip is coming from Miss Harmina Jones of Model Me Inc. International. And that tip is, if you are looking for a way to keep your foundation set in place, or if you're trying to get rid of the shine, the excessive shine or whatever, then the best thing to use is pressing powder. That's the secret. After you apply your foundation, use that pressing powder that sets it, and it controls your shine throughout the day.
Now I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, I'm sorry I got so excited because you're speaking to me. I am always so shiny, like I just got finished eating a piece of Popeye's chicken. And I don't want to look like that. So, my question is, Willow, now, I tried the press powder over my foundation, but then I look white, like a clown a little bit. So, I mean, does that eventually settle in? Because I'm so quick. I do my makeup like a 5-minute job. I don't spend a whole lot of time with that. So is it that if I get a translucent like pressed powder, is it supposed to just blend in with my foundation? Or what type of pressed powder do we get? Do we get the same color as our foundation? Help us with that.
That's a good question. I'm thinking that, one of two things. If you're using the same color, then it might be that you're using too much. Maybe you don't need that much, because I think you just use the, you just use the pad and kind of pat it on, like kind of setting it in place a little bit, but you're not, the foundation did your coverage part.
Okay.
So you don't need to use as much product as the foundation. And then, of course, translucent always works because it doesn't interfere with anything.
Okay.
Is that what you said you're using?
Well, it was a translucent. Now, when I put it on, it to me, it appeared to look kind of white. Not really, it just looked a little white. But I didn't take the time to see if it actually settled in. I could have been walking around looking, I don't know what I was looking like, to tell you the truth. But when I applied it, it looked kind of white. So my question is, does translucent powder usually settle in and blend in with the foundation?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to refer y'all to the expert.
Okay.
Amina Jones.
Okay.
Amina Jones of Model Me Inc.
Okay.
And her web address is modelmeinternational.org. Okay. www.modelmeinternational.org, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, that's Miss Harmina Jones. Let me see. I'm going to also give you all her contact information.
Okay.
Because she's open to taking calls.
Okay.
So I'll give you that in a second.
Okay, so while you're getting that, Willow, tell us about the Sea Island Signature Salon. If you have, tell us about your 20 Tuesdays, how they're going, and if you have any additional things you would like to add about the salon.
Well, the $20 Tuesdays are a real hit. People are coming in and taking advantage of that. They're learning a lot. They're getting, we're getting a lot of new clients. Sea Island is doing a lot of consultations, so that is a hit, and that's still going on. So you guys, come on in for that $20 Tuesday. But like Sea Island always says, you have to call and make your appointment. Okay,
well, give them that number and address if they're interested in receiving the $20 service on Tuesdays.
Okay, give me 1 second here.
Okay, I'm gonna give them that number. I don't know what you doing, Willow,
Right.
but I'm gonna give them that. I'm gonna give them the salon number for you. The salon is 202-265-1772. If you are interested in getting that $20 service, now first of all, you can't come trying to get everything for $20. You only can get the basic service, a shampoo, blow dry curl, or a shampoo wrapping set for the $20. Now, if you want flexies, you need anything else done other than that is going to be an additional charge. But it's still so worth it to try Willow out and Miss Agnes Chase out over at the Sea Island Signature Salon. They're doing a fabulous job with the $20 Tuesdays and just creating fabulous hair for our community. So,
yes, and don't forget the $50 lock me up on Thursdays and natural hairstyles.
Oh wow! Well, okay, tell us about that again.
Well, that's our natural hair haven. Sea Island Signature Salon is also known as the Natural Hair Haven, and on Thursdays, we do a little specialty for all our natural hair clients. With styles starting from $50. That's lock maintenance, juice strand twist, flat twist, Molly twist, you name it, we do it.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Very great. Okay, so did you get that information yet about the makeup?
She has not responded to me yet, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to post that information on our website for those of you who have oily skin like myself and you need more information of how to keep your skin looking dry and things like that. Then we'll have that information on our website a little later. Now, answer this question before you go, Willow. How did you feel when you heard about the suicide of funny man Robin Williams?
I'm going to be honest with you. It was sad to hear, but to answer your question, was I surprised? I was not. Part of that is because I have dealt with before in the past, thank God, with some depression. And I know how it is. Sometimes you can be dealing with and going through all kinds of things, and nobody ever knows it because you have that painted-on smile, that, hey, how you doing, that sunshine look, and you're going through turmoil on the inside. It's very sad. It's real serious. But no, I wasn't surprised.
Wow. Okay. Well, how did you overcome the situation, Willow? What did you do? Because you always seem upbeat to me, and you always seem very optimistic, and always, pressing forward to the next thing. So what did you do?
I'm going to be honest with you. I prayed real hard, and God delivered me. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
I believe it. That is the truth.
That is what he did. The power of God delivered me from it, and I haven't looked back there since.
Oh, my God. Well, that's the answer. You have told what my solution is. Well, thank you so much, Willow, for calling in. We appreciate you every week. And for those of you who would like to see Willow in the city, she's on what is it? Listen Live? Yes, it's Willow Vision Radio Show at www.wlbsradio.com every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Okay, so we look forward, Willow, to watching you. I did watch you last week, you and your daughter, and you had some guests in the studio, but my computer kept freezing, so I'll try you again on tomorrow, and we look forward to hearing from you next week, okay? Yes, ma'am. Have a good week. Okay, you do the same. Yes, that was Willow in the City with our makeup tip for today. We are going to have more information for you on our website, so you can check into the SeaIslandMorningshow.com later on if you're interested in that makeup tip. Well, this morning we are talking about overcoming depression. We are going to break, but let me give you the number. The number is 1-800-450-7876. If you want to call in and tell us your story or make a comment, just give us a call. We have to go and pay some bills. We'll be back shortly.
WOLDCnews.com. Good morning, it's WOL Traffic Update is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. 295 southbound, it was the vehicle fire near the NRL. Looks like it's off the roadway right now, but it's very slow on southbound 295 as you approach the NRL southbound. On Queens Chapel Road eastbound in Hyattsville, the roadwork near 410 has the left lane closed. Both ways on 704 near Addison Road, the right lane is taken away for midday construction. Everyone's looking for an encouraging sign in today's economy. Fact is, you'll find one right here. Contact your local State Farm agent today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Now your WOL weather forecast brought to you by Geico for today. Increasing clouds during the day, high near 85 down to 70 overnight with some scattered showers. Tomorrow, cloudy with off and on rain showers and a high near 83. What does it mean when Geico says just 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance? It means you probably should have gone to geico.com 15 minutes ago. Steve Hirschhorn for News Talk 1450 WOL, where information is power.
News updates on the web at WOLDCnews.com.
Good morning, everyone. This is Trendy Lending. I'm live in the studio of 1450 WOL. This is the Sea Island Morning Show, and this morning we are talking about overcoming depression. We currently have a couple of people online. Before I get into what depression is and all of those things, we're going to give a few just a few tips on how to overcome depression and things like that. We're going to go to the phone lines and get a comment first from Miss Milner. Good morning, Miss Milner.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great, great. Okay, did you want to respond to the question of the day, or did you have a story that you want to share with us? The question of the day was it shocking to hear that funny man Robin Williams was suffered with addiction and depression to the point of suicide? Were you shocked to hear that?
Yes, I was very shocked because my thing was, why would he go through the major surgery he just had and have his new television show coming out and have 4 movies in the making just to turn around and kill yourself? It didn't really make sense to me, but I understand because I suffer with depression.
Now, I was told, what I did not hear about the surgery. What type of surgery was it that he had?
I'm not sure if it was an open heart surgery, but he had a surgery not recently ago that he they thought he wouldn't have made it out of his surgery, but he made it out of the surgery. So I'm saying, why would he come that far just to kill yourself?
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I also learned that the show that I guess was supposed to start, they canceled it. And I was told that it was an abundance of just things that were going wrong that kind of overwhelmed him. But we're going to talk about what depression is in a little bit, and we're going to talk about why. And that's a good question. You don't understand, well, why would... he seems successful in a whole lot of areas and, just came through a major surgery. And he also, had only been married, I heard, for a few years. So this was a new wife.
That was a new wife. And that's what I'm saying. He had so much going for him.
Yeah.
And see, life can be overwhelming. To the point where we don't have anybody to turn to. When you feel down on your luck, and if you feel like it's just you by yourself, then you hate yourself. Of course, you just be in a state of depression. So you have to come up out of that.
And do you have a personal story that you were able to overcome depression?
I was depressed.
Okay.
I was depressed about the way I lived my life because of the lifestyle that I chose. If people heard me before when I was on the radio, I come from the line of addiction. And when you're in that lifestyle, you create a world of your own. I was queen. I ran queen in the world that I ran, but didn't nobody like me. Still didn't nobody like me. I still didn't have any friends. I was just using to all my feelings of being lonely, of homelessness, of just the things that I had endured, that I put myself in that position to endure. Those are all of the things that depressed me, but how I came out of it is that I had to get on my knees and pray.
Wow.
Because I had to have some determination to do better within myself. I just had to pray. And God helped me out. He saw my prayers. He heard my cry, and He helped me. So I know I still suffer sometimes with depression, but as long as I keep myself in a happy place with positive people around me, I can't go wrong.
Well, I am thankful that you were able to share that story with us, Miss Milner. And you are one of our new stylists at the Sea Island Salon at MLK. How is that going?
It's going wonderful. I love it. Just come on out, everybody. Come, let me hook you up.
Okay, well, give them some contact information, how they can come and support you. Now, you do have like a $50 special, that $50 or 50% off, right?
I have a 50% off back to school special. That means the first time you come to me, any service that you want, be it weave, color, lock maintenance, or whatever, I will give you 50% off of that. Now, you're going to love me so much the first time, I know you're going to come back the second time. And if you come back the second time, bring a friend, I'll just charge your friend. I won't charge you. Your service will be free.
Wow, you are.
Myself, the telephone number is 202-678-1009, and we're located at 2100 Martin Luther King Avenue.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Milner. So if you want to contact, her name is Angelina Milner. When you go into the MLK Salon, Sea Island Salon at 2100 MLK, ask for Angelina, and she will be happy to hook your hair up. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Ms. Milner, and I'll see you soon.
Hold on, Miss Trendy Linda. You're going a little too fast. I got somebody else here that is willing to talk to you as well. So hold on and let me introduce the Miss Fabulous, Mrs. Clark. Hold on.
All right.
Hello.
Good morning, Miss Clark.
Good morning, Trendy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, ma'am. Did you want to respond to our question of the day? The question of the day is, was it shocking to hear that funny man Robin Williams suffered with addiction and depression to the point of suicide? Was that surprising to hear it?
Yes, it was, and I can relate to that because I was once under depression and that lifestyle of addiction. It was a shocking to me, and I couldn't believe it. But you never know what people are going through in their life and what they're dealing with. But I thank God that I was able to come out of mine, because I was at that point where I was depressed and, doing drugs, wanting to get high and want to kill myself. So you just don't know where it comes from. And I think the depression comes from within. It starts with us. We don't love ourselves. So we start doing all kinds of crazy things, looking for love in all the wrong places. And then it takes us to a level where we think about, we want to hurt somebody. We don't really want to hurt people, but we all in the same. We wind up hurting ourselves. Long run, but we hurt the people that love us and care about us, about what we're doing to ourselves. So, it was a shocking to me, because he was my favorite character, in all his movies he's played. I just thought he was just the funniest guy, with his, different impersonations of people, how he could talk, especially on Mork and Mindy. I love that show. That was like my favorite. So it was a disturbing, shocking news to me as well.
Well, we appreciate your comment, Ms. Clark. You also are at our Sea Island Salon at MLK. You are the manager at that salon, and you're doing a fabulous job. Is there anything you would like to offer our listening audience today?
Yes, I would like to tell the listening audience for the back to school special, we're doing a 50% off.
Okay.
Back to school special. Also, that we're doing a Black and Red affair on the 23rd of this month. It's on a Saturday. It's from 10 to 2.
Okay.
And I would like for people to come out. Tickets are $20. If they're interested, they can call us at 202-678-1009. That's 202-678-1009.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Clark, for calling in with your comment, and we'll be seeing you soon.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we are talking about overcoming depression, and people been calling in with their testimonies of how God has been good. We are going to get into some ways of overcoming depression. Before we get into it, we have Miss Chase, I believe, that's still on the line. Miss Chase, you on the line?
Yes. Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine.
Great. Okay, so the question of the day is, was it shocking to hear that funny man Robin Williams suffered with addiction and depression to the point of suicide? Were you surprised to hear that?
Yes, I was surprised because, like I said, I watch mostly old shows, especially like what is it, Miss Doubtfire and stuff
Yes,
like
that was my sister's favorite movie.
So, like, it hit home, but in a sense, like they were saying before earlier, like, you don't know what people are going through, and it's easy to say, oh, well, how did this happen to him, and how did this happen, and why would he do that? But you don't know. Depression, I look at it like it's a form of, it's like a demonic force.
Yes.
First of all, it's like up in it's like a number one killer. One of it, because the other one is stress. And when depression come over you, it's like a cloud.
Yes.
You know? And it makes everything dark and make you feel alone and make you feel like, you're not worth nothing. And it's just like and then it adds on with whatever you've been going through in life. But I have like a story, just something to share. Like depression for me, it came over me around the same time last year. I was going to Bennett and everything. And how it came over me is by me being focused. I dealt with 2 deaths at the same time. My brother got killed along with my sister's fiance, whose wedding I was planning in August around the same time. And what happened was, I didn't understand, and I was so overwhelmed because I'm like, okay, I'm this single parent mom, and I'm trying to fight to go to school, but then how could this happen at the same time? So I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't drink, I wanted to be alone because I'm trying to figure out why. At the same time, my daughter got taken from me for something I was accused for that didn't even do, and I'm like, Lord, I believe in you. Why is all this stuff is happening? And he like, lean out to your own understanding, always acknowledge me, and I will direct your path. Me not knowing that everything I went through was for my own good so I can share to somebody else to enlighten them in it. But like I said, to get back to what I was saying, depression is the number one killer. If you stay there, if you don't know your self-worth, like Ms. Clark said, and Ms. Milner said, if you don't know your self-worth, it can take over you to the point of death. It can take over but I had to pray. And I'm like, Lord, if you put me through here, you made me. So you know what I'm going through. You have to protect me from this. And I came over. I got my daughter back. I got my son back. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that my 2 brothers in a good place right now. But you have to be strong. You got to stand strong on that word in order to get out of it. The physical being is not going to help you out of depression because it's going to still make you feel less. So when you go around, get out, go into a different environment where somebody can help you through. Don't say to yourself, go get help, and I'm telling you, it will help you.
That's right.
So that's what I have to say.
Well, I appreciate that, Miss Chase. That was a mouthful. Thank you so much. I wholeheartedly agree with you and continue to listen in. We have just some insight on depression that I'm going to share with the listening audience in a little while. So continue to listen, and thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
So we have a few moments before break, but we have Mr. Tyrone, one of our favorite callers and listeners on the line. Tyrone, you have a comment about depression?
Yes, I do. First of all, good morning to you and to the listening audience. I guess Mr. C. Allen is on vacation.
Yes, he's out for today.
I'll just say so good morning to him, and I wish both of you all a blessed and safe week.
Well, thank you.
No, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
That Robin Williams took his life. Depression can also be biological. It's inherited. It runs in some families, and the reasons can be many, and there are many. And the best thing to do is, if you are depressed, is to find out if this runs in your family. If it runs in your family, it's more like the biological. It's a brain chemistry imbalance. And schizophrenia is pretty much the same way. And usually if you have one depressed person in the family, there are others you might not have known about. It might have been in the past, might have been down your way down the line somewhere. One of the main things you do is identify what the problem is. Find out what it is. You got to do some soul searching here to find out what it is that you are depressed about. What is it that you're so concerned about, so worried about, that you has now reached a magnitude where you want to end your own life. And once you identify that problem, then the next thing is take steps to resolve it. And the first thing you should do is turn to Father God.
Okay.
Ask yourself some questions. What is my spiritual life like? What is my relationship?
Hold on for me, Tyrone. We have to go to break real quick. We'll be right back for your closing remarks, okay? We'll be...
Good morning. I'm Doug Parrish. Here's the latest from News1.com. Brought to you in part by State Farm Insurance. Contact your local State Farm agent today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. More rioting in Ferguson, Missouri in the wake of last week's police shooting of an unarmed teenager. Overnight, riot police used tear gas to clear the streets of protesters.
As the crowd approached the shopping center, multiple Molotov cocktails were thrown at police. At that time, police deployed tear gas in an attempt to disperse the crowd and stop the violent action.
Well, Missouri Governor Jay Nixon has also deployed the National Guard to the town of Ferguson amid continuing unrest over the police shooting of Michael Brown. Well, the corruption trial of former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell continues today. Mike Fortier has the latest.
Defense attorneys for Bob McDonnell will start making their case today in the former governor's corruption trial. McDonnell's lawyers will argue the governor never promised businessman Johnny Williams any political favors in exchange for gifts Williams gave McDonnell and his wife. The Washington Post reports McDonnell could take the stand this week. Prosecutors wrapped their case Thursday after spending almost 3 weeks accusing McDonnell of public corruption, lying on financial forms, and obstruction of justice. I'm Mike Fortier.
Well, Metro Rail will stay open an hour later tonight for the Washington Redskins preseason game at FedEx Field. Riders should enter the Morgan Boulevard or Largo Town Center stations no later than 12:10 a.m. to make sure they catch the last westbound train. Riders will be able to exit at all stations during that additional hour of service. The Washington Nationals notched their 6th straight win last night, besting the Pirates in extra innings 6-5. And the news brought to you in part by UPSJobs.com. UPS seeking part-time package handlers in Chantilly with a starting pay of $10 to $11 an hour. Apply online at UPSJobs.com. I'm Doug Parrish. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to News1.com.
At WOLDCnews.com.
Good morning, everyone. This is Trendy Lindy. I'm in the studios of 1450 WOL. This is the Sea Island Morning Show. And on this morning, we are talking about overcoming depression. We all heard that Robin Williams took his life, and it was really a shocker to me. We currently have Tyrone on the line, and he's talking a little bit about depression. Tyrone?
Yes, I'll try to finish up here.
Okay.
Like I said, that once you identify what the problem is, and you've admitted it to yourself, you have to be able to admit it. You have to be able to acknowledge it. And you can't run away from it. Because if you do, the only thing it'll do is get worse, and it will overwhelm you.
Yeah.
The next step is to pray and ask Father God to guide you to someone, because He's the only one who can do it. At the point, you can't do it to yourself, because at that point, you're not ready for that. You need somebody higher, somebody to guide you to the right person, the right professional person, that is, who has experience in dealing with depression. And I would check out various psychiatrists to find out which psychiatrists have the most experience in this area, and what are their success rates of helping people with depression. Because if it's biological, I'm telling you, there's no cure for it. The only person can cure it is Father God. They don't have any medicine for that. But if it's not biological, if it's just more psychological and emotional and spiritual, the Father God and yourself, along with your excellent psychiatrist who has experience in this area, can cure it. I mean, really help you to overcome depression. And that's the steps that I would take. And I have worked with people who have depression, and it can be very, very overwhelming for the person as well as for the individual who is working with someone who has depression. So you have to keep your own self on track, and mentally and psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually at all times, and socially. And I thank you for taking my call. Y'all have a blessed and safe week.
Thank you so much for calling in, Tyrone. We appreciate you calling in and listening to us on a weekly basis. Have a great one. So, yes, we are talking about overcoming depression on this morning. The question of the day was it shocking to hear that funny man Robin Williams suffered with addiction and depression to the point of suicide? If you have a comment, give us a call on 1-800-450-7876. We're going to get into talking about depression a little bit. I was... on last Thursday, C. Allen usually talks to the student body and give a motivational speech or whatever he's led to do. And on the past last Thursday, he was led to talk about police brutality, and he was also led to talk about depression, because everyone was talking about Robin Williams and the fact that he committed suicide. So he asked me to give a 2 or 3 minute speech or a 2 or 3 minute talk to the students regarding depression, and it was so... I didn't know. The students were so touched. Many of them were brought to tears. I mean, it was only 2 or 3 minutes that we talked about it, but some of them were just filled with so much, life things that they're going through. They were filled with tears. There was some couple that I just pulled to the side and talked to about their issues. So we felt that it would be great to just talk a little bit more in depth about depression on this morning, because so many people are dealing with it silently and they don't have a lot of people to talk to. So we want to give some helpful information that people can think about and hopefully change their minds regarding the way they think about depression. So first, let's talk about what depression is. Now, the world says that depression is a disease. It's a mental sickness. And usually what they do is they give a solution. The solution is pills, drugs, and things like that. Now, I personally believe that drugs are merely a temporary fix. I don't believe if they give us pills or drugs or something like that, we're going to have to use the drugs the rest of our life. I do not believe that God created us to have to take a pill of any sort for the rest of our lives in order to deal with life. I just do not believe that. Also, taking the drugs is like putting a Band-Aid on a wound. The wound is still there, it's open. A little Band-Aid is not going to fix the problem. And the only way that we can overcome depression is by going to the root of the problem. So we want to talk about a few of the roots of the problems today. But let's first talk about coping with depression versus overcoming depression. Most people use the term, okay, I've learned how to cope with this, and I've learned how to cope with that. The definition for coping is to struggle or to deal, especially fairly even terms or with some degree of success. So by coping with depression, you're learning how to deal with it on some degree of success. But overcoming is totally different. It's a whole different way of looking at the situation. Overcoming depression is to succeed in dealing with a problem or difficulty. And it also stated for the definition, overcoming is to defeat, is to prevail, is to beat, is to conquer, and is to overpower. Okay, so we want to first start with our language and how we think of a situation. First of all, we don't want to cope with depression any longer. We want to overcome it. And as you've listened to some of the callers today, many of us deal with depression. Many of us deal with it. Depression is anger turned inwardly. Now, a lot of us deal with anger. There are many things that cause us to be angry. We get angry when we lose a job. We get angry with when someone tries to carry us. We get angry when things don't go our way. We get angry when we're thinking, we should do things one way and something else happens. I mean, there are many reasons for us to get angry. Someone gets on our nerves. I mean, we get angry. But how do we deal with it? Some people deal with it in silence, and they don't say anything, and therefore a lot of the anger is turned inwardly, and it starts to build up. It starts to build up to the point that sometimes, we feel like we're going to burst because there's so much inside that we're carrying around on a daily basis that we have not released, and it causes us to act in certain ways. A lot of angry people are bitter. You go around and you say good morning to someone, and they look at you like, who are you? And all you said was good morning. But a lot of people are so angry in the inside, and they don't know what to do with the anger. They lash out at their kids. Some women, they're going through because they're dealing with several kids, 1, 3, 5 kids. The father is not around. You see him riding around with a new woman, and he's acting like he don't have no child at all. You're dealing with the stress of the children, paying the bills and all of that, and it can cause you to be angry. And so many people get depression and don't know what to do with that. So anger is depression is anger turned inwardly. You're angry at many different things, but we have to learn how to deal with that. Now, I would like to also say that I believe the enemy has done a great job in getting us to believe that depression is a disease. Yes, we believe that depression is a disease, but I'm here to tell you depression is not a disease. If we believe that depression is a disease, what it actually does is take the responsibility off of us dealing with it, and by accepting it, we accept, what our doctors say. We accept the medicine that they give us. We accept that there's nothing we can do about it, and all of those things are lies. They are not the truth. That is not something we have to live with. That is not something we have to deal with every day of our life. And we have the power within us to overcome it. But let's go to the beginning. I like to give some insight, because some of you still saying, well, if the doctor says it's a disease, it's a disease. But I'm telling you, it is not a disease. Now, I'm going to talk spiritually, because really the issue is a spiritual issue. It really boils down to it being a spiritual issue. I'm going to start from the beginning. First of all, the devil, Satan, he was in heaven with God, and he wanted to be God, and pride set in, and God ended up kicking him out of heaven. Well, when he kicked him out of heaven, a third of the angels went along with him. So when they were kicked out of heaven, they're now here, the spirits, the enemy, and his spirits, his demons, they're here on the earth, and they have names. And one of their names is called depression. Depression is a spirit, just like fear is a spirit, just like poverty is a spirit. All of these things that enter into our lives to stop us from reaching greatness and destiny and prosperity, all of those things that try to enter our lives to stop us are spirits. And even now they call obesity a disease. Obesity isn't a disease, people. Obesity is the spirit of gluttony. We are overeating. So there are spirits here on the earth that the doctor, the science, they don't really know how to deal with it. So they put a label on it, and they give us a pill for it so we can temporarily be okay. But it's not okay. We have to get to the root of the problem. And by getting to the root of the problem, the only way that we can overcome those things is to go to God himself. We got to go to God. Now, I'm going to say, if you're on that medicine, you need to take your medicine. There are many people who are walking around not taking their meds, and they're losing it. They're walking ticking bombs. We need you to take your medicine, but we also need you to know the truth, that you have power to overcome any spirit that you're dealing with. We're going to talk more about that when we come back from these messages.
News updates on the web at WOLDCnews.com.
Listen to this, y'all. Good morning. This WOL Traffic Update is brought to you by Food Lion. On southbound 295 at the NRL, it was a vehicle fire. Look for authorities still on the scene as that gets wrapped up. Inbound and outbound on Suitland Parkway between Firth Sterling Avenue and Stanton Road is construction. Left side is blocked inbound and outbound on Suitland Parkway there. On eastbound 704 between Addison Road and Sheriff Road in Seat Pleasant, right lane closed for construction. Visit your local Food Lion for MVP specials like 3-pound bags of Gala apples, just $2.99 each. Food Lion, grocery shopping made sensible. Now your WOL weather forecast brought to you by the Columbia Bank for today. Increasing clouds, highs in the low to mid 80s. Scattered showers overnight down to 70 tomorrow. Off and on showers, a high near 83. At the Columbia Bank, you can securely deposit your checks with just a snap using their new mobile deposit service. Go online at thecolumbiabank.com to get started. Message and data rates may apply. Steve Hirschhorn for News Talk 1450 WOL, where information is power.
News updates on the web at WOLDCnews.com.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Trendy Mindy. I'm on the Sea Island Morning Show, and this morning we are talking about overcoming depression. We currently have Miss Taylor on the line to possibly answer our question of the day. Miss Taylor, you there?
Hi, Miss Linda. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. As far as Robin Williams go, I was surprised and yet I wasn't, only because I know that depression, can come for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much money you make or how poor you are, or, like the previous caller said, it could be the person with the smiling face, bubbling, bouncing around, and when they go home, they're dying inside.
Mm-hmm.
But just what I wanted to add was that when you're feeling some type of way, different ups and downs, some of us get more down than others, but it's good to have someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Find someone to talk to. And sometimes it's not the people that's immediately around you.
Mm-hmm.
The people immediately around you may be very toxic. They may be part of the reason why you're feeling some type of way. And, to find someone you trust to vent to and be able to talk things out. Sometimes you can come to a conclusion about problems just talking it out. Or if you have someone who is an active listener, can give you some pointers into solving your problems, and that'll keep you from getting so low.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I have a best friend. Me and her could talk about everything, and we've both been through some very, 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 very tough times.
Mm-hmm.
She's also in the industry. She's also, dealt with being a single mom. She's also dealt with parent issues and, being, just different issues through life. And we can talk about these things on a deep, deep level where we can't talk about it with no one else.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to worry about being embarrassed, or we don't have to worry about, what's she going to think about me? It's an outlet where I know I can be free. I can say what I want. She's not judging me. I can let it all out. And when I'm done talking to her, I feel better.
Yes.
She's an active listener. So she says, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Well, maybe you should try this, try that.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do the same for her.
Mm-hmm.
But in turn, when I'm dealing with other people, I've realized it's important to be an active listener.
Yes.
If someone reaches out, to have my ear open so that I can respond to them, not, you girl, you'll get over that and move on. No, I try to be an active listener, take in what they're saying, because sometimes people are suicidal
mm-hmm.
and they reach out,
mm-hmm.
but if you're not actively listening, you won't hear them calling for help.
True.
Mm-hmm. So I think not only being able to talk about our issues with someone, but also being an active listener is very important
mm-hmm.
in our, daily relationships and with our family and friends, even our children,
Yes, yes, yes. That is an awesome point, because a lot of us, we just need to vent. The Bible even speaks about confession one to another and how that brings healing. So a lot of times we just need to get it out. And that's basically what I was saying earlier. Depression is anger turned inwardly, and it stays in. But when we're able to talk about it and release it, sometimes it does a wondrous amount of help for us. So that's a major point. Thank you so much for calling in, Ms. Taylor. And keep listening to us.
Of course. Have a good one.
Okay, you too. Yes. That was a great point. We're talking about overcoming depression on this morning, and I've been talking about the difference between coping and overcoming. Coping is basically just accepting and settling for the fact that, you're depressed and that's the way it's going to be. And you're learning to manage it through prescription drugs and through whatever else the doctor recommends. But I'm here this morning to say that you have the power to overcome depression. Depression is a spirit, and it's a spirit that knocks on all of our door, because we've all been angry at some point or another. It's how we deal with the anger when we're faced with it. I remember in 2004 when my sister went into labor. She was 19 years old, and she was married, just got married in January. In June, she went in labor to have her baby. And I was actually in Atlanta at a conference. Me and my mother, we were in Atlanta, and I went to this church conference. And when I got back from the conference, I walked into the hotel room, and within my spirit, I heard God say, she's not going to make it. And I got puzzled. I'm thinking, okay, I know the voice of the Lord. And I'm like, okay, Lord, what do you mean by that? I'm not understanding. She's not going to make it. But he said she's not going to make it. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, I immediately thought about my sister, and I started going into prayer. I started interceding in prayer in the bathroom. I didn't tell my mother what God had spoke to my spirit, but I just started praying. And so later on that evening, I was asleep, and I get a call about 12 o'clock at night, and the doctor said that my sister's baby died. While she was in delivery, the baby died. Well, I was happy, because I was like, as long as it's not my sister, that's fine. She can have another child. I'm sorry that the baby died, but I didn't think that I could bear losing my sister. So I went back to sleep, and I was just grateful, even though the baby was a boy, and we knew it was a boy. So, but I still, in my mind, it's like, okay, the baby died. Okay, I can live with that. But then 4 hours later, I got another call, and the doctor said she didn't make it. And I'm like, she who? I went off, she what? And the doctor was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, your sister, she didn't make it. She passed. And oh my God, I thought my world had ended. It was so bad. It was so dark. It was so everything. The only thing that I wanted to do was to go to my church, lay on the altar, and just have God do something for me. Touch me, do something, Lord. Because at that point, I'm like, I was really, really upset. I had been ministering in my church. I was the assistant youth leader, and I've been ministering and preaching and all of that to everybody else's young person. And I'm like, Lord, you gonna let my young person go like that? So I was I was just broken in the inside. And I didn't care. I had a attitude that I didn't care what happened after that. I was kind of reckless, kind of self-destructive. I did not want to die. But a part of me didn't want to live either. So, you go through that. So I understand, if it had not been for God's love, his healing, first of all, if he wouldn't have warned me in Atlanta, I really don't know how I would have responded. But because he gave me that warning, it didn't just take me by surprise. I was able to lean on him for strength. But there are times that there's an open door in our lives for the spirits to come in. That was an open door for that spirit of depression, and for any other spirit that wanted to come into my life and cause caused me to end it all, that was the opportunity for it to come in. So a lot of us, we have overwhelming things to come into our lives, and that thing will open the door for the Spirit to come in. So it's very important to understand that, when you go through times of disappointment, times of grief, when you lose a loved one, times when things aren't going your way, you have to somehow drop to your knees and you have to call on the name of Jesus. Otherwise, if you do not, you will be really out there alone, because there's no person that can help you deal with that. There's no person who can take the pain from you. There's no person who, some of our parents love us, and if they could, take some of the pain for us, they will, but they can't. Nobody can go through the things that you have to go through but you. So that's the time when you have to rely on the Lord. You have to. And I don't know no other way. It's no way I would be here this morning talking to you if it were not for the hand of the Lord in my life and being with us. He says in Scripture that He will never leave us nor forsake us. That's a promise. No matter what we go through, no matter what we face, no matter what trial or tribulation, God is there. He's there to wipe your tears, to give you peace, to comfort you, to hold you and rock you through that rough situation. And if you believe in Him, you have faith and trust Him, He will do it. But you have to first believe Him. So just want to reiterate that you don't have to cope with depression. You can overcome it. And the only way to overcome it is to go to God. There is a scripture in the Bible, and it's in Luke 8, 43 through 48. I'm going to read it. And it says, "And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any, came behind and touched the border of his garment. And immediately her issue of blood stanch. It was gone. And Jesus said, 'Who touched me?' When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, 'Master, the multitude thronged thee and pressed thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me?' And Jesus said, 'Somebody have touched me, for I perceive that virtue has gone out of me.'" And that's a powerful, powerful, powerful statement. First of all, this woman had an issue of blood. Now, that issue of blood could have been any type of issue. Anything that we're facing, anything that we're going through. First of all, that issue caused her to be ostracized from everyone. Because back in the day, if you were having a menstrual time, you had to actually go away and be by yourself. You had to announce to everyone. If you went into the public, you had to tell everyone that you were unclean. So you had to walk around and say, "Unclean, unclean," so people would know not to come nowhere near you. So first of all, she had to announce that she was unclean. She had to be by herself. The issue lasted for 12 years. It went on for a whole 12 years. Now, ladies, I know some of you can imagine. Can you imagine having a menstrual for that long? I can't. But she did. She went through that issue of blood and for that long of time. And she spent every dime she had with the doctors. She went to this doctor. She went to that doctor. She flew to Johns Hopkins. She went to the doctor. She just went everywhere. And they kept giving her different antidotes that didn't work. Nothing worked. And the thing that was great about this woman, she said, "I've tried everything. I've tried this, that, and the other. Nothing has worked. I am going," and she heard about Jesus coming through. And she said, "You know what? If I can just get to him, I will be made whole. If I could just touch him." And the thing was, she ain't have, she was weak. She was feeble. She went out crawling to him. And she touching him that she would be made whole. And because of her faith, the Lord felt virtue leave from his body, and the woman was made whole instantly. So that's such an encouraging story. Some of you who are facing situations that you have no way of how you're going to come out, I tell you on today, you must find a way to drop to your knees and touch the Lord. He is waiting for you. We are going to take a break. We'll be back in a few moments.
News updates on the web at WOLDCnews.com.
Everybody come on, let me.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, I just want to say thank you for making my Geico Insurance ID card digital. It's easy to find on the app. It doesn't give me paper cuts, and I always have it on hand because it's on my phone. Because of this, I finally cleaned out my glove box, which was filled with years of paper ID cards. Any thought on what I should put in my glove box now? Sincerely, Trent Patterson. Trent, what can you put in the glove box? Here's a crazy thought. How about gloves?
Digital insurance ID cards, just a tap away on the Geico app.
If you've got 15 seconds, Geico could help you be a better driver.
Speeding is dangerous and doesn't really save you much time. How many times have you reached a red light only to find the guy who roared past you waiting there? Traffic signals limit overall speeds to what the system can handle. Drive faster and you'll simply spend more time waiting at red lights, wasting fuel, and being more stressed out.
Manage your policy, get roadside assistance, and more. Just a tap away on Geico's free mobile app.
Don't just complain about your cable bill going up. Do something about it. Call 800-912-1816. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99. Best of all, there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Call 800-912-1816. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut cost and get more. 800-912-1816. That's 800-912-1816.
President Obama loves WOL, where information is power. So in love with you. WOL, where information is power.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their network.
McGruff here.
The crime dog?
Yep.
I think I'm going to need your help. I've got an internet bully.
Okay, well, what you do is...
Maybe you could put a virus on her computer. Or a tracking device. Or a bug.
You don't have to do that, all you...
Or maybe we could get an attack dog. You ever see those attack dogs that can, rip a person's arm off? Seriously. Or like a SWAT team. A cyber SWAT team or something. Or like an army. Did you ever see that zombie army movie? We should get a zombie army.
Wait. All you need to do to stop an internet bully is delete their messages and never forward them on.
So, no zombies?
No zombies.
Bummer.
Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it, don't forward it. For more information, visit ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
And to manage the depression with drugs, with various drugs. And our take this morning is that we have the power within us to overcome depression. And overcoming depression is to succeed with dealing with a problem. We can defeat it, we can beat it, conquer it, and overpower it through the blood of Jesus. So that is one of the ways that we're talking about overcoming depression. The second thing that's important in overcoming depression is to gain some control over your thought life. A lot of us, we spend a lot of time dealing with negative thoughts. And we got to remember, now we said that depression is a spirit. First of all, we need to understand that